Good evening, everyone. Let's go ahead and get the board meeting started. It's now 6:01 p.m. We'll call the board meeting to order. All 5 board members are present. During closed session, we'll be discussing student discipline, student suspension, student suspension, student expulsion, or student expulsion readmittance issues. We'll be having a conference with our negotiator in regards to CSEA, CTAB, Teamsters Local 150, management, and we'll be discussing public employee discipline, dismissal, and release issues. There are 3 public comments today. Before I invite the speakers up front, I'd like to read the speaker conduct card. For all those who wish to address the board during public comment periods, the speakers are requested to state your name and affiliation for the record. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to address the board, 5 minutes per organization, and a maximum of 20 minutes per topic. Speakers are reminded to communicate with respect, fairness, and courteousness to each other and to all present. You are reminded not to use the name of any district employee in your comments. The board welcomes orderly communication from the public. The first speaker will be Mr. Joe Herman.
Is this on? Okay. All right. Good evening. My name is Joe Herman. I am the president of the California Teachers Association of Berryessa, or CTAB. CTAB members are taking their valuable time to be here again for a 3rd time, dating back to the 22-23 school year, to demand that the Board of Trustees do what's best for the teachers, the students, and the families of the Berryessa community. The board needs to settle a contract now that will increase CTAB members' salaries to mid-range in the county. CTAB members are now working on an expired contract because management continues the narrative that the Berryessa School District is poverty-stricken and that it cannot afford the best educators, the best support, and the best learning conditions for students. Spending money on CTAB salaries and student support does not seem to be a priority. How management spends its funds reflects the values that they hold for the Berryessa community. Over a 2-year period, management chose to increase administrative salaries $1 million and added at least 3 more administrator positions. The cost of CTAB salaries went down $1.7 million from last year to this year alone due to fewer teachers. Why are more administrators being added when there are less students? There are less teachers. Shouldn't there be less administrators? This funding decision sends the message that the students and teachers are not as valued as administrators. Misguided funding decisions lead to labor unrest and reflect a lack of learning support for students and as a disservice to the Berryessa community who deserve the best educators. Berryessa is 29th in the county compared to 34 other school districts in teacher salaries after 5 years of teaching in the district with a bachelor's degree and 45 college credits above their degree. Comparing the 16 non-basic aid districts, only 4 are paid less than Berryessa. As a result, teachers understandably leave Berryessa because they don't feel valued, and in order to earn more money, they jump ship for better pay in other school districts. Berryessa then loses many of its best educators. Labor unrest negatively affects the Berryessa community. When potential families and students to the Berryessa community see labor unrest, they may choose not to come to Berryessa. When current families and students within Berryessa experience labor unrest, they may very likely choose to go to another school district where teachers are more highly valued, recruited and retained, and where students have the best support for their learning. Labor unrest is a betrayal of doing what's best for students. Labor unrest leads to worsened working conditions for teachers, more stressful learning conditions for students, and potential learning loss for all students. Labor unrest and potential strike lead to poor administrator and employee relations that could take years to heal. Labor unrest does not help to create a safe, innovative, and inclusive student-centered learning environment. Labor unrest does not inspire students. Labor unrest does not inspire teachers. Labor unrest does not inspire the Berryessa community. Management and the school board must prioritize and bring to the table a proposal that our CTAB negotiating team can bring to membership and successfully pass in a ratification vote. The Board of Trustees needs to direct management to bring a contract proposal to CTAB that recruits and retains the best educators to Berryessa and that provides the best support and the best learning conditions for students.
All right, thank you for those comments. Our next speaker will be Ms. Radha Bala.
I was hoping I wouldn't have to go after Joe. I can just say ditto. I do have a couple of comments, though. We talk about retaining teachers, and I was thinking about this the last couple of days, actually. And I've been with the district for 15 years, and that's a long time to be with the district. And I know a lot of my colleagues who have also been with this district for more than 10 years. And that should say a lot to the board and management. It should really say more than words can come up with. That we have teachers who are committed to this district and we show up year after year, sometimes decade after another decade. That commitment should show the district that we have people who are worthwhile, not worthwhile, but just amazing, amazing, awesome people, and they should be treated with respect. Some of us have just started in the district and should have equal respect. We're not asking for an exorbitant amount for a living expense, a chance to just have a normal life without worrying every single month, am I going to make it next month? Some of us are lucky and we don't live that, but many of us still think I've got college to pay for, I've got this to pay for, where's retirement going to come? Nothing's getting cheaper because we're not getting raises. We're not asking for much. We just want our due respect that we've earned year after year. And it's absolutely ridiculous that we have to have these conversations, that we are in October 2023 and we do not have a contract. That is not acceptable under any means, folks. It is not. It's not a joke to hear teachers and people coming, giving their stories, pouring out their personal lives, only to be like, I'm sorry, it's just not going to work. I don't want people to tell me I'm a superhero because I'm really not. I don't want people to praise me. Wow, you're so patient. No, I'm not. I really am not patient. But I don't even want due respect. I've earned it. I don't need to ask for it. And every single one of our teachers, whether we've been here for 2 months or 15 years or 30 years or 40 years, earned it. And in return, we want what's coming to us. We are very reasonable people. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for those comments. Our next speaker will be Ms. Gail Heiberger.
Gail Heiberger, kindergarten teacher at Northwood and elementary rep on the CTAB executive board. Joe spoke eloquently. He took a lot of what I was going to say. So I will speak from the heart for me. You know, this is my second career. I've been teaching in Berryessa for 20 years now. And it's sad to say that the salaries are, as Joe said, 29th in the county. The fact that I'll be have to teach another 10 years when I'm already 62 years old in order to afford to retire. So I think it's only fair to ask that we get at least a cost of living increase. We haven't had one in over 3 years, and that's effectively a pay cut where we've also had 2 extra days added. The most important thing to me when I'm working here is my students and my family. I look forward to seeing them every single day. And there's nothing more satisfying than when the light bulb goes on and you see it and the kid gets it. And I love seeing their smiles. And at the kindergarten level, they tell you they love you every day. And, you know, it's great. 10 years in kindergarten, I've taught most of the other grades. I don't think I'll go back to any other grade, but you know what? The most important thing to me is the students and the families, but it's really hard to come to work every day, when you can barely afford to live in the county. Thank you.
Our next speaker will be Ms. Kinza Ahmed.
Sorry, I don't have a lot of room here. Okay. My name is Kinza Ahmed, and I am a mother of 2 in the Berryessa Union School District, a PTA member and a member of this community. Before I start, I would like to thank the teachers in this room, the teachers who make things happen with little supplies, who spend their own money to make education exciting and fun. To the teachers who are kind and smiling, even though their hearts are breaking or raging with anger, who come to do their job despite not being able to make ends meet and could get paid way more for doing half the work in a way better job. Thank you to the teachers who are resourceful and get things donated to schools, who call on volunteers to read to their low readers, since the district can't provide a reading specialist to them. To the teachers who incorporate art because we can't get art programs. And a special shout out to the teachers who prep those FOSS science kits. They are time consuming, confusing, and prep heavy. To all of you who come up with fun things to do in the dark with students because we keep having power outages, but not being supplied with flashlights, for organizing long bathroom lines because their bathrooms keep breaking down, for making outdoor educational activities fun because for 6 months of summer, there was no air conditioning in that particular pod. I am humbled and grateful to all of the hard work you all do. Thank you. On the district's brand new and shiny website, under the unchanged vision statement for the Berryessa Union School District, it states, vision statement. Berryessa Union School District will be recognized for educational excellence in a safe, innovative, and inclusive student-centered learning environment, inspiring students, staff, and the community. Not only that, one of your 3 goals, which should be revised at the end of this year, 2023, I would like to read to you one of your main objectives, 3rd one down from the top. Improve the mental health and wellness of students and staff. I ask you, have you accomplished that particular goal? Can you honestly reflect back on the past 3 years and say to yourself, yes, we have done that right by our staff and students? Because I am here to remind you and speak up for that very staff that you have not. Rather than ending these negotiations and causing more and instead causing more stress and anguish on the teachers of the community, creating the remote possibility of a strike if need be, rather than meeting the needs of all teachers, gen ed and special ed, and all support staff. You have drawn out this battle, spent more money on lawyers and negotiators and consultants, all to say we don't have any money. I am here once again to ask this board, the administrators, and the negotiating team, please stop taking things away from the teachers and please start providing our teachers with what they need so that they in turn may be successful in the classroom and the school community. Last month alone, this district spent thousands of dollars for window tinting on a building that already had windows that were tinted. $8.7 million on admin salaries. They placed fire alarms in a school where if you walk every 2 steps, there will be a fire alarm. The district has created or paid out settlements on multiple occasions because rather than meeting the needs of their students in general or special education, they disregard recommendations from teachers and get sued by parents of students who suffer under lack of care from the very district that claims they don't have money. I mean, they have spent thousands of dollars on consultants on how to make more money, right? And before we jump to say, wait a minute, these are different buckets of money, and different buckets of money cannot be moved or shared with the places where we actually need the money. I would like to ask you, if you cannot move money, if everything is too hard to accommodate for the teachers and the students, because that's why we're really here, if you cannot help, then why are you here?
Thank you for those comments. So that will conclude all the comments for closed session items. And as always, the board takes into consideration any comments that are provided to us. And at this time, we will now adjourn to closed session. And for anyone in the audience, we typically expect to be back by around 7 o'clock, maybe later, depending on the discussions that are had during closed session. So again, we will now reconvene or adjourn to closed session at this time. Thank you. Which one? At the no, just one. Oh, right.
Are you staying? I have. All right.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, but we figured it out, so I have it back. You didn't give me those receipts. Yeah, but I'm wired it. Yeah, I saw.
They come back from collecting my. So by the time they go back, two of you, me, Tony, and. I had to park down the shopping center, so. Right, so as soon as the teachers all went out. Oh, wait
You already take the superintendent's spot.
I do take the superintendent's spot. I'm the highest level person in that building now, so I'm gonna take that, Josh, I'm gonna take There you go.
I'll see you there. I don't know how.
Wow.
End of school year. I'm here to do that now.
See you too.
All my friends in Colorado. Well, all the teachers that's here. Yeah, all my friends here too. All your friends all over the world. Yeah. And I'm like. I'll probably see you on Friday night, Chris. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then, Sean did for a long time. Sean had this motivation. On the first day after Halloween. Oh. So it's okay, yeah. Okay, so she has enough kids. Oh,
I would turn the button off.
Yeah.
All right, good evening. The Board of Trustees will now reconvene back to open session at 8:04 p.m. Trustee Srinivasan, can you lead us in the flag salute? Thank you. And Trustee Boak, can you lead us in the district mission statement?
Yes, thank you. Berryessa Union School District provides all students the skills to become lifelong learners and successful 21st century global citizens.
Thank you for that. Trustee Jimenez, can you lead us in the norms of the Board of Trustees?
Berryessa Union School District Board of Trustees agree to focus on the best interest of students at all times, be respectful, listen openly, address problems and process, not persons, keep each other informed, maintain confidentiality, work toward the future, learn from the past, equal participation from all members, and stay on task.
Thank you for that. And there are no actions taken during closed session. Now, is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
I move to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, agenda has been adopted 5-0. There are no recognition or ceremonial items, so we'll move on to public comments on consent agenda items. If there are none, we'll move on to the consent calendar. Is there a motion on this item?
I move to adopt the consent calendar.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Consent calendar has been adopted 5-0. We will now move on to comments from the public on non-agenda items. If there are none, we'll go ahead and move on to the reports and presentation. Dr. Fuentes, can you introduce the first item?
Thank you. The first item is in regards to the quarterly report on Williams uniform complaints for the period of July 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2023, as required by Ed Code 35186. Dr. McCreary, if you could please provide our update.
So no complaints were filed with any school in the district during the time frame July 1st through September 30th, 2023. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. And we'll move on to our bond update. Dr. Fuentes, would you like to introduce this?
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite Mr. Tony Conestab, our Director of Bond Facilities and Modernization, for his monthly update regarding Measure L and Measure U bond programs.
Hello, everyone. So tonight we'll go through, again, the bond measure. Again, this is a picture of the Piedmont Gym on the cover. We'll go through Measure L, give an update of what projects we have, schedule, and then again, Measure U. Again, with Measure L, we've actually completed the marquees at Morel and Sierramont over break. So those are working. And we finished the additional lights at the Toyon Library. So right now we're pretty much done with all the projects with Measure L. And we have about $147,000 left to spend. So we'll bring that to the board with the recommendations on which projects to go forward with for your approval. And again, here's a picture of both Morel and Sierramont sign. And then moving on to Measure U, exhaust fan projects, phase 1, which were all the exterior ones. We had about 40 fans left to finish. We've done about 35 of them. And the remaining 5 will be done on Thursdays. And basically, we're just waiting to get the fans in from the manufacturers, and then we'll install them. The new gym at Piedmont, they've been working on the roof. They've put in most of the sports equipment. The bleachers are in. It's going along. We don't have any updates further along on when the mechanical unit's going to be here, so we're still hoping for the middle of November to be finished. Exterior door project at Morel, they've been working on punch lists. They did a lot of that over the October break. So we're almost done with that one. We still have some things to do with the door thresholds, but we're working with that with them on the contractor to get those done. Sorry, excuse me. And then the Morel exterior gates, we actually had those replaced. Those are the 3 main gates on the front. We replaced the double red doors with one single ornamental gate, and it actually looks great. Next page is the door numbers at the schools. Noble's complete. They're starting to work on Piedmont, and then we'll move, once we get Piedmont done, we'll get the rest of them done. Playground at Ruskin, they actually aerated and reseeded, and now it's pretty much sitting and waiting until sometime in November to use. Again, the field's blocked off. We're going to water it, and we're going to hope to see it grow. Projects that are out to bid are the old district office. We're bidding the roofing and the HVAC. That's due, thinking about a week and a half. So we'll find out where those bids are. So hopefully at the November board meeting, we'll make a recommendation for award. And then things we're working on is Toyon fire alarm projects, Vinci Park, Northwood, also the new warehouse, the exterior doors, exterior building signs we're working on, PA and security for all the projects that are listed. And we started working on the exterior window replacement project at Piedmont. Again, here's the gym. This is the interior. You can see they have some of the scoreboards up. They started putting the wall padding on. Here you can see the bleachers are in. Some of the floors actually under where the bleachers are. Again, the other side, they have some of the basketball hoops in. This is where the fire road's going to go to the existing playground from the gym. Again, this is Northwood, where we replaced one of the light poles that was damaged during the summer by one of the contractors. And then schedule on things to complete. And again, this is just another view of the Piedmont gym. Do we have any questions?
Thank you for the presentation.
Sure thing. Great.
All right, at this time, we'll move on to your report, Dr. Fuentes.
I just have one item. I just want to share with the board that we did meet our deadline with Santa Clara County Office of Ed. We had a requirement of submitting to them our unaudited actuals, as well as any potential reductions or revenue streams that our Budget Stabilization Committee has come together to propose. That deadline was October 9th. We've submitted that information to the County Office of Ed, and so it's currently under review. And I'll provide you an update once we hear from them in terms of approval for next steps. Thank you.
So at this time, I'll open up to the board for any comments and announcements.
I have a brief announcement. So Assemblymember Lee hosted a Latino Heritage Month event this past a couple weeks ago, but then one of our Berryessa teachers, this is Leticia Garcia, nominated by Joy Casanova, and Mr. Herman received an award this past Monday for her work as a kindergarten teacher at Brooktree Elementary School. So I just want to congratulate her for her hard work and just recognize that she's been working at the district for a really long time, and she was really happy to receive the award. I unfortunately couldn't be there. They told me last minute and I was like, what's going on? But I just wanted to let everybody know that she was nominated, she received the award, and just congratulations.
I just want to remind everyone that this month also is the Filipino History Month. This was recognized in Congress in 1989. So thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to review and action now. Dr. Fuentes, would you like to introduce the first item, A1?
It is recommended the board adopt Resolution 2303, Conflict of Interest Code Amendment. This is a resolution that we do each year in terms of any potential conflict of interest from our elected officials.
All right, any discussion or motion on this item?
Move to adopt Resolution 2303.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. This will be a roll call vote. Ms. Gomez, can you do the roll call? Aye.
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 Okay, resolution passes 5-0. We'll now move on to A2. Dr. Fuentes, can you introduce this?
It is recommended the board review and approve Board Policy 1160, Political Processes, for a first reading. This update is in relation to a new law, AB 1416, that when we have a ballot that's put out to our community, so for example, a parcel tax, a bond ballot, I believe this also is reflective in election cycles for trustees. We must list on that ballot for the community supporters and opponents of the existing measure. So that is reflective of AB 1416.
All right, any discussion or motion on this item from board members?
I move to adopt the board policy.
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor of this motion, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. Let's move on to A3. Dr. Fuentes, can you introduce this?
It is recommended the board review and approve Board Bylaw 9124 attorney for first reading. This is recommended language from the California School Boards Association. There are 3 items in relation to legal services that districts obtain. The first one is new language that talks about the importance of school districts to have legal representation. The second item in here talks about that when it comes to legal services, school boards do not need to conduct an RFP process for their legal service retention. And then finally, any firms that a school district utilizes for legal counsel must be admitted to practice law in California.
All right, thank you for that. Is there any discussions or motions from board members on this item?
Is this consistent across all schools?
Yes.
Is the what's
This is
norm?
from the California School Boards Association. It's reiteration, it's clarification of existing language for this policy. And remember that this is just first reading.
Oh,
So
it's
if
first
there,
reading.
yeah,
Okay,
this is
I got
only
you.
first reading. So
Sorry.
if the board has any additional
Right.
adjustments that you want to recommend, this is your opportunity to do so.
In that case, I'll move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor of this motion, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's 5-0. Motion carries. We'll move on to B1. Dr. Fuentes, can you introduce this?
It is recommended the board adopt Resolution 2304 declaring February 20th, 2025 as Abraham Lincoln's holiday observance. This is to go into alignment with our approved student calendar for that year.
All right, any discussion or motion on this item?
Move to adopt resolution 2304.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, and this is a resolution, so there will be a roll call vote. Ms. Gomez? Aye.
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 Okay, resolution passes 5-0. We'll move on to C1 now. Dr. Fuentes, can you introduce this?
It is recommended the board approve the Commercial Plumbing and Building, Inc. change order number 1 for the fire alarm replacement project at Piedmont Middle School. Tony, I'm sorry, I don't have my notes here. If you could please share the change order rationale.
Again, this is a credit change order that's in the district of $32,000. So typically in the contracts, we have an allowance. In this one, we have $50,000. We use $18,000 of it for unforeseen conditions, running utilities and things like that. So we have an additional of $32,000.
Turn that on, you might be able to hear me.
It was a credit.
A credit.
All right. Any motion or discussion from the board?
Move to approve. We'll take the credit.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor of this, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. We'll move on to C2 now. Dr. Fuentes?
It is recommended the board approve the Commercial Plumbing and Building, Inc. change order number 1 for the fire alarm replacement project at Morill Middle School. Tony?
And again, we have a credit here of a little over $19,000, which will go back to the bond. And again, it was used for mostly underground utilities and things like that that we had ran into when we were digging between buildings.
All right, anything from the board?
I move to approve.
I second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. Now, is there any requests for staff follow-up or items for future agendas from board members? All right, if there's none, is there a motion for adjournment?
Move to adjourn.
All right,
Second.
it's been seconded. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, meeting's adjourned at 8:20 p.m. Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.